Hello, and welcome to the introductory video for my Yoga and Movement for Chronic Pain program. First, before we begin, just an overview. I'm a psychotherapist at the Pain Psychology Center here in Los Angeles, California, and I'm also a yoga and meditation instructor. And this program is intended to integrate aspects of pain reprocessing therapy, a research-backed approach for non-structural chronic pain, to integrate some aspects of that with aspects of yoga and movement. Now, in this video, I hope to go over three important things among a few others. First one being why. Why would pain reprocessing therapy and yoga and movement put together be helpful for you? Why might it actually help you move the needle on your chronic pain experience? Two, I hope to give you just a little overview of what to expect in these subsequent videos. They are chair yoga videos, so everything is done basically sitting down, and there are a couple other you stand at times, but it's a chair yoga and movement series, okay? And I'd like to just give you an overview of what to expect, the structure of the classes, okay? And then third, and this is potentially most important, I'd like to go over a 3-step process that you will use within these subsequent videos to actually move the needle on your pain, right? This isn't just a yoga and movement series modified so that you can do it. Hopefully this will make sense as we go a little bit further, but this is very much an integration of pain reprocessing therapy and yoga, and these 3 steps that I will go over at the end are very important for that, okay? Now, before I get into any of those sort of 3 components of this video, first things first, I want to say that there is a difference between structural and non-structural chronic pain. And this is intended for the latter, for non-structural chronic pain. Okay, so to ensure that you might fit in this category, I really encourage that before you dive into this program, please talk to doctors, talk to any professional out there who you believe has good information on what is going on in your body, okay? And if there is either, I'll just say if there's nothing structural found, if there's no structural explanation for your chronic pain, you might be in the right place. It may be this non-structural stuff, okay? So you got to do some preliminary work. If you've been experiencing chronic pain, please check with doctors and do the work beforehand so that you can be sure nothing is actively, acutely harmful going on in your body. Nothing harmful is going on in your body that is causing the pain. We want to rule that out first, all right? All right, so I'll move into a little bit of an overview as to why this approach might work for you. And to understand that, first it's important to know that at its core, a lot of pain reprocessing therapy is about exposure, right? And that is relevant to pain because pain has everything to do with the system believing something dangerous is going on in that part of the body, okay? Think about it. It's a little bit of an alarm system. Even, and this is true for structural and non-structural, right? If you break a toe or roll your ankle, sprain your ankle, there's a lot of pain because your body wants you to fundamentally baby it, wants you to take care of it while it heals, right? It's sending an alarm that something is wrong here. Please modify your behavior, right? Okay, so all this is to say that it's an alarm system. Pain is an alarm system. It's indicating your brain believes something dangerous is going on. Now, if it is non-structural, nothing is structurally going on in that part of the body that is dangerous, then this is fundamentally a false alarm. Okay, this is the nervous system responding in a very alarmed way to something it doesn't need to be alarmed about, to something that is actually innocuous. Okay, hence exposure work. So what we will do is bring the attention towards, we will expose the system to the pain, to the thing, the area that your brain, your mind, your neurology believes is dangerous, and over time, experientially prove to the system that it doesn't need to be sounding that alarm, okay? That pain is actually a misinformed opinion of the brain, all right? Now, this can weave in nicely with yoga and movement, because for many of us with non-structural chronic pain, yoga and movement triggers and causes the pain, yeah? So while we are doing these particular yoga shapes or postures or various movements, consider that we actually are almost inviting the pain into this situation. It's good to note that if you find that your pain is not triggered, or there are other symptoms as well that are in this sort of wheelhouse, but I'm just going to refer to it as pain. If you find that it's not triggered at all during these yoga and movement classes, then we won't actually have an opportunity to practice the exposure work. So this might not be the program for you. Yeah. So keep in mind that we're actually almost inviting the pain to join us on this journey, and while doing so, you will practice, and I'll explain a little bit further, actually exposure work towards that pain to convince the neurology that it doesn't need to be sounding this alarm, all right? And potentially the yoga shape or the movement will trigger the pain, and then we'll have an opportunity to practice the exposure work. The second component that I want to cover in this video is just a little bit of a structure, a little bit of an overview of what to expect in these subsequent videos, these subsequent classes, all right? They will start with what are referred to in yoga as Surya Namaskar flows. These are flows, or you'll flow through some different shapes, and in the yoga tradition, they're sort of salutes to the sun, salutes to the great power of the sun. That's not too important, but I want to give you just a little bit of a heads up that in the first portion of the class, when I refer to sort of a flow, what I basically mean is we're not going to be holding a posture for an extended period of time in the beginning portion of the class, right? So when we're doing these flows, it's all about breathing and moving, and then breathing and moving, and then breathing and moving. I think you get the idea here, okay? So each class will start with one or two of these flows, and when I say breath to movement, what I mean is each movement will correspond with a particular inhale or an exhale, okay? And you don't have to get too lost in why or how, or just try to follow along and know that, again, these beginning portions of the class, you will be breathing. Inhale, reach the arms up, something like that. Exhale, hands on the thighs, take a forward fold. Okay? And while you're doing that, I just encourage you to let whatever the sensations in the body, whatever they are, let them be. Focus as much as you can on your breath. And throughout the entire program, only do what is possible, all right? If it's excruciating to fold all the way forward, then just fold a little bit forward, okay? If that's not available, and I mean this, you can just imagine folding forward. You don't have to actually do it. If you just imagine it and that's enough pain to deal with it, then that's enough, right? So please support yourself in these flow sections and throughout the entire class, okay? But to stay on track here, overview of the class, it will start with a flow section, a breath to movement flow section, okay? And then the class will move into held shapes, okay? And as you'll see, I will offer modifications in different variants, but fundamentally the idea will be putting your body into a shape and staying there. Now, all of our chronic pain is different. So some shapes may sort of trigger it and some won't, and that's entirely okay. That's not to be worried about, all right? Now, in a moment, the third component of this intro video, I will go over what to do when we are in these held shapes and you feel pain, all right? But keep in mind, again, we're just doing the overview of the class. Starts with the breath to movement flows. Then we move into held shapes, all right? When we're doing the held shapes, it also is true, please only do what you can. Please modify as much as you need to, all right? And as you'll see, I have pillows and blankets and all sorts of support with me when I'm demoing these shapes. Please have those with you as well, and trust your intuition. Support yourself so that we can stay in the shape, ideally as long as is held in the video. All right, so that's the second component of the class. And then there will be a third component of the class that's more meditative, and it's intended to start teaching and helping you practice supporting yourself. All right, and it's pulled from the work of Dr. Kristen Neff and Dr. Chris Germer. I will go over that in the video plenty. All right, so you might think about each class is a flow, breath to movement flow, held postures, and there's really only one or two held postures. There's not much. And then a little bit of a sort of meditative practice. All right? Okay. Now, this third component of, I know there's a lot of threes, third component of this introductory video, this is where I will go over the 3 steps that I want you to practice, that I want you to go through when you are in a held shape, okay, and you feel the pain. So just to be super clear, in the class we have those flows. You don't need to do what I'm about to explain in the flows. Just do them during the held shapes, all right? So when your body's in a position and you have some space, some bandwidth to work through these 3 steps, all right? The first of these 3 steps is, what evidence do you have that whatever you are feeling is actually innocuous? So to make this sort of clear, say I have chronic pain in my knee. I've gone to all the doctors, right? And I've gotten an MRI and all sorts of things and finding nothing. Right? And finally gets to a point where this doesn't seem like it's a structural issue, all right? That can serve as evidence that it's very likely non-structural. That is to say that this sensation in my knee is actually safe. Right? Another thing you might look for are exceptions. Does my knee hurt when it doesn't make sense? Right? If I haven't been using it for several days, but say work is stressing me out a little bit or something, and I notice pain in my knee, that's a good indication that it's non-structural, right? So you might call that up when we're actually doing the yoga class. My knee pain flared when I was doing nothing with my knee. That must mean that this is a pretty safe sensation, you know? Now, exceptions can also work the other way. Has my knee never hurt after a really nice, long, beautiful hike and, being outdoors and connecting to nature? And, well, if it was a structural issue, and my knee didn't, if it was a structural issue, a hike like that should cause some sort of pain. We should expect that. And if it wasn't hurting, that can work as evidence, yeah? So, you can go through a whole series of lists, and I can try to provide maybe a list you can go through. But this first step is be prepared before you begin the program to have some evidence in your head that supports the notion that whatever your chronic pain is is actually innocuous. It's actually safe. Now, I'm not saying it's not painful. All pain is real, right? But what I'm saying is, see if you can find some evidence that this is actually an innocuous or a safe sensation. And you'll have that ready because this first step, right? Say I'm in, one of the courses and we're doing something and I feel my knee pain start to flare. The first thing I'm gonna want to do is tell myself, okay, well, remember that exception when I was hiking? I did that 4-mile hike and it didn't hurt. Well, structural damage does not behave that way. This is a safe sensation, okay? So that's the first step, is being prepared with evidence and compelling reasons for you that you can remind yourself when we are doing the yoga or the movements and the pain shows up, okay? The second step is actually turning the attention towards the pain. Keep in mind, many of us, when we struggle with pain for years and years or a long time, we get really good at ignoring it. I'm asking you to do the opposite of that right now, or rather when you're in the yoga program and you feel the pain, okay? This is the exposure work right here, yeah? So you're gonna turn your attention towards the pain, really feel it. And it's uncomfortable. That's putting it mildly, right? It's horrible, all right? See if you can really feel it. As you're doing that, take a double inhale through the nose, a long, slow exhale through the mouth, okay? So the first step, I'm just going over, remind yourself what you know about the knee pain, or whatever it is, that it's actually safe. Second step, turn your attention towards it, and do the double inhale through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth, like this. You can do a couple of those. And really feel the pain. Third step, bring your attention somewhere else in your body, to somewhere that feels neutral or positive. Okay? Now, don't accept the notion that you can't find a neutral or positive sensation. Don't accept it, because it won't be true. You will be able to find a neutral or positive sensation. Scan your body, find something. You might make something, make a sensation. If you rub the roof of your mouth with your tongue, that feels, most of us, that feels pleasant and powerful enough. You could really feel that, right? You could rub fingers together or hands. You could rub your thighs, your neck, a little mini massage. Ooh, feel those sensations. Okay, so this is the third step. See if you can turn your attention away now from the pain. We're saying, okay, enough with you. Turn your attention away from the pain and to something that is neutral or positive. And then feel it. That's all you got to do. Really, really feel it. See if it can take up the entirety of your awareness, okay? So at risk of sort of being a broken record here, I'm going to repeat these 3 steps that I'd like you to go through every time we are in a held shape and you feel your chronic pain. 1, remind yourself that it's safe or innocuous and support that reminder with evidence. 2, turn your attention towards the pain, really feel it, and then do that little breathing exercise if you'd like. Just a couple times, double inhale through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth. And then 3, turn your attention away from the pain to something neutral or positive. And if you can't just naturally find something, make a sensation that's neutral or positive. Okay? All right. Well, that will conclude this intro video. Thank you for watching it all the way through.